Okay, so when you picture the Taj Mahal, what comes to mind? For most of us, it's this perfect, shining symbol of love, right? And hey, you're not wrong. But what if I told you that behind all that gleaming white marble, there's a story of genius, obsession, and even heartbreak? A story that's way more complex than you might think.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to go way beyond the postcard view and uncover the secrets that are literally built into its foundation and its walls. I mean, they're hidden in plain sight, and they tell the real story of this incredible place.
All right, let's start with something really cool. The mind-bending tricks the architects built right in. As you first walk through that main gate, the building plays a trick on your eyes that completely messes with what you expect to happen. So get this, it's a trick that totally defies logic. As you walk towards the Taj Mahal, it actually looks like it's getting smaller, framing itself perfectly inside the archway of the gate. But then, as you walk away from it, it seems to grow larger and larger, filling your view. It's just an incredible feat of forced perspective, right? A visual illusion designed to mess with our sense of depth and create this feeling of just otherworldly awe. And the illusions don't stop there, not by a long shot. Take a look at those four huge towers, the minarets, at each corner of the tomb. Now, you'd think they're perfectly straight, standing at a 90-degree angle, right? Well, they're not. Each one is actually tilted just a little bit outwards.
So why would they do that? Well, this is where the genius of the Mughal engineers really shines. There are two brilliant reasons. First, it's another optical illusion. If the towers were perfectly straight, our eyes would trick us into thinking they were leaning in, so tilting them out makes them look perfectly straight to us. But the second reason is even more important. It's a safety feature. In case a massive earthquake hits, the minarets are designed to fall outwards, away from the main tomb, protecting Mumtaz's final resting place. How incredible is that?
So all of this incredible engineering, this amazing artistry, this obsession with perfection and protection, it raises a huge question, right? It wasn't just about an emperor showing off. No, this was all for one person. It all began with a promise. Yup, the entire reason the Taj Mahal even exists comes down to one of the most famous love stories in all of history, the story of the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan and his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal. So their story kicks off when he was just a teenager. He was still Prince Khurram then, and he just fell head over heels in love. Over the years, he became a legendary military commander, earning him the name Shah Jahan, which literally means Emperor of the World. And look, he had other wives, but Mumtaz was the one. She was his true love, his closest confidant, his most trusted advisor. But then in 1631, their amazing life together just came to a tragic halt. While giving birth to their 14th child, their 14th, Mumtaz died, and her death just completely shattered Shah Jahan's world.
It's said that on her deathbed, Mumtaz Mahal made one final request of him, to build her a tomb more beautiful than anything the world had ever seen. A completely grief-stricken Shah Jahan took that promise and made it his life's one and only mission. He decided right then and there to pour the entire wealth and power of his empire into making it happen. And what came next? Well, it was one of the most ambitious construction projects in the history of humankind. I mean, the sheer scale of what it took to build the Taj Mahal is honestly almost impossible to wrap your head around. First, just think about the sheer manpower. An army of 20,000 skilled workers. We're talking everyone from laborers to the absolute finest artists and craftsmen from all across the empire, all brought to this one spot. And then there's the time. This was not a quick job. For 22 straight years, this huge workforce worked day in and day out to bring Shah Jahan's vision to life. 22 years. And finally, the money. Now, it's tough to get an exact figure, but modern estimates put the cost at over $1 billion in today's money. Just an absolutely astronomical sum. One of the biggest problems they faced right away was the location. Building a massive marble monument on the soft, unstable soil of a riverbank, that's not a good idea. So how'd they pull it off? Well, the engineers came up with a truly brilliant solution. They dug a whole series of super deep wells, going all the way down until they hit solid dry ground. Then they filled those wells up with stone and rubble, basically creating these huge underground pillars, and that gave them the rock-solid foundation they needed to build on. And the decoration was just as clever as the engineering. The main technique they used is called pietrudura. Basically, artists would take these tiny pieces of semi-precious stones, cut them meticulously, and then inlay them into the marble itself to create these incredibly detailed and beautiful floral patterns in calligraphy.
And yeah, absolutely no expense was spared when it came to materials. Shah Jahan reserved the entire world's supply of Makarana marble, which was considered the best you could get. They used thousands of elephants just to haul these giant slabs over 400 kilometers. And get this, even the glue they used for that intricate stone inlay was this special mix of natural stuff that was so strong, people still study it today for restoration projects. So after 22 long years of nonstop work, the impossible dream was finally finished. But fulfilling that promise to Mumtaz came at a staggering price, a price paid not just by Shah Jahan, but by his entire empire.
But wow, the result was a true masterpiece. A building so perfect it literally seems to change its color with the sky. The marble catches the light in different ways, so it shifts from the soft pink at sunrise to a brilliant, dazzling white at midday, and then to this warm, glowing gold at sunset. It's almost like the building is alive.
But here's the tragic irony. In creating the world's most beautiful tomb, Shah Jahan had pretty much bankrupted his empire. The treasury was empty, other important projects were completely stopped, and the military was stretched thin, all for this one single building.
And that financial crisis, it led directly to his own personal ruin. Just 4 years after the Taj Mahal was completed, Shah Jahan's own son overthrew him, seizing the throne and using his father's crazy spending as the main reason. The emperor of the world would spend the last 8 years of his life as a prisoner. When he died, he was finally reunited with Mumtaz, buried right there beside her in the tomb he built for her. And here's the final, heartbreaking detail. The room where he was imprisoned had only a single window. And through that one window, for the last 8 years of his life, Shah Jahan could do nothing but gaze out across the river at the magnificent Taj Mahal, the very thing that was his greatest achievement and the very thing that led to his downfall. So that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? Is the Taj Mahal the world's greatest monument to eternal love? Or is it a symbol of a ruinous, all-consuming obsession, a grief so powerful that it brought an empire to its knees? The truth, as it usually is probably somewhere in the middle.